And so then this is then when you get into the time jump, and I didn't know there was gonna be a time jump at first. I thought they were gonna be kill. I thought they were yeah killing. I thought they were gonna be keeping Millie and Emma. No, Millie and Emily, the two actresses that played Allison Hightower and Rhaenyra Targaryen for the first couple episodes. I thought they were going to keep them throughout the entire show. So once I started going into this, I mean, I saw the little caption on HBO Max saying like, "Oh, maybe like 10 years later," and I could tell like, "Oh man, we're gonna get new cast members." And while we did get new cast members, I was also a little concerned where I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if this isn't just going to be as good because those two actresses did a very good job at the first part, though." Um, I don't know. Emma and Olivia, they both did a very good job throughout the rest of the show. Honestly, those two actresses might be better than the younger two. Is that a hot take? Maybe though. But yeah, they did a very good job. And I mean, while I still missed Emily and Millie though, um, I really like the two actresses they placed. They cast it and they definitely look like logical like explanations to be like, hey, 10 years later, this is what they're gonna look like though, because obviously 10 years later we're all gonna look different though. So that casting nailed it though, and like all four actresses did a fantastic job there though. That's just something I always want to say right off the bat though. So yeah, so it literally starts off with Rhaenyra having another kid. I believe she has three boys. Where are they all? I don't know. Yeah, she's got a couple kids. They do not have the same. They don't have the same hair as Lenore, and it's becoming clear right away that oh yeah, Rhaenyra's kids are not exactly her kids um, because it's not yeah it's yeah it's one of the guards, and even when they're practicing, the guard kind of defends them a little bit, and that's where and the new hand of the king. What was his name again? Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so the guard was Harwin Strong. Where are you at? Come on, you gotta be in here somewhere. Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't know where he's at though, but yeah, the new hand of the king is basically like, hey, that was my son. I'm so sorry. I'm really our family, our house was really embarrassed though. I'm gonna step down. But Viserys, of course, denies it because he's like, yeah, the rumors about Rhaenyra's kids aren't exactly her kids. That's not true. He's basically doing that because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to kill both of them though because we don't do that here. Which, come on, they do it all the time and you just don't know. And then yeah, so 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 he keeps them on, and that doesn't make Allison very happy because she's like my father Otto Hightower got kicked out, got demoted as Hand of the King for basically doing the same thing as him, and yet he suffers no consequences, and my father gets kicked out. Which there's a logical explanation to all this where Viserys is, I mean, where Viserys is trying to keep the peace. He's trying to keep everyone happy though, but he's also ignoring some pretty big things going on in his kingdom though. And so, yeah, but yeah, like just I said, like that's where it's like it just gets really really complicated with all of just everything going on. And so then you have another guy named I think his name was Linares though. He's basically like Littlefinger if Littlefinger was attracted to the toes. So yeah, a little gross. So yeah, he's kind of like, hey, you want your father back in charge? So okay, I'm gonna go kill my entire family. And right away, Allison's like, that's not what I wanted. And he's like, you you never gave any details, and so because of that, Viserys doesn't even try to look for another hand of the king. He just gives it right back to Otto Hightower. It's like, you didn't learn anything from like over 10 years ago, though. Like nothing. It's just like, here you go, hand to the king, and then meanwhile, then you have and then meanwhile we have Daemon, which I haven't even talked about Daemon very much, though. Yeah, Daemon gets married, and his new wife is not the best at is not the best at giving children. So because of that, Daemon kills her, and then he gets a new wife. That new wife has a couple kids, but then when she tries to have her third, fourth, I don't know, something like that, though, the childbirth is so bad that she ends up killing herself with her dragon. So yeah, which I mean, I don't know why the dragons would allow to kill them, but maybe that. But I don't know. I mean, well, maybe they just like never did that with Daenerys though. So maybe that's why I'm thinking. I just remember kind of watching that and be like, I don't. Maybe they really the dragons will allow you to kill yourself, or they're like, or I don't know. Maybe he's like, hey, you sure about this? And that's when then we get into episodes 7 and 8, and the only thing I have here is family drama, because that basically sums up these two episodes where you have Aemon, the second kid to Viserys and Alicent. Of course, he's been made fun of for years because he doesn't have a dragon. So when Daemon's wife kills herself, that leaves her dragon, which apparently she could ride very, very well with. And so he's kind of like, oh, okay, the dragon's mine. Then he rides the dragon, which, first of all, very brave kid. Number two, you're a jerk, because then right off the bat, though, then he starts insulting Rhaenyra's kids along with Daemon's kids, basically calling them bastards, and yeah, basically just saying like, yep, snooze, you lose. So because of that, a fight breaks out. Don't know where all the guards or the parents are, but yeah, it was bound for something like this to happen, though. Aemon gets his eye cut out. And Alicent is not happy about this. She's not happy about this at all because I mean, of course, someone got injured. Viserys comes in. Okay, how did this start up? And basically all the kids are like, yeah, the reason why he got his eye cut out is because he called is because he said that he questioned the legitimacy of our kids, and just Viserys like, no, that's not true. Just tries to brush it off. Just basically like a forgive and forget. I mean, literally everyone's like, dude, we all know. It's very clearly obvious. Why can't you see? But he's like, no. If it's true, then it's going to make our families look bad. So he brushes it off. And so he tries to pull this forgive and forget, but then Alicent just goes crazy and is like, and it's like, your son got his eye cut out and you're just gonna forgive and forget? So she's like, hey, so because of that though, takes the knife that actually kills the Night King later on though, and tries to go after Rhaenyra's kids, and in the process cuts Rhaenyra. So who, remember, is still the heir. So I think that should be treason though. No, it's okay. I mean, of course, Alicent does, like, later on kind of regret that a bit, where she's like, oh, yeah, I went a little batshit crazy, my bad. But, of course, it's kind of too little too late, and Otto Hightower's like, hey, you're in the game now. You played that very, very well. So, yeah. And then, of course, then you have your final scene of episodes. I'm pretty sure this was episode 7, where they fake Laenor's death. And that last scene I thought was really, really good with Daemon and Rhaenyra, and then of course Laenor as well. Because Laenor, obviously, they're not entirely married. He is gay. He's of course out quite a bit. He always like comes. I mean, he literally comes back later and he's like, so what happened? And she's like, oh yeah, you missed quite a bit though. And and I feel like normally in these circumstances though, like I'm not just talking about Game of Thrones, but just like any show and any show, movie, or in general, it would be like it would be like, man, I don't like this husband. This guy's the worst. But he openly admits right then and there that he's like, hey, I'm a terrible husband to you. You deserve so much better than that, though. I mean, we're cousins. I love you, but I don't love you like that, though. I want to go out to sea. I want to bang all the men. And so, but since they're married, you can't divorce. And then plus Rhaenyra loves Daemon. They find a way to kill Lenor, but also fake his death. So then everyone, therefore everyone wins. Rhaenyra can be with Daemon, Lenor can be on the sea, and then he can get all the men. So he escapes, and I don't know, it's kind of satisfying seeing him get that ending that he's always wanted, though. But then also everyone gets what they want as well, even though it's both sides are just bad. They're not good. So then you go into episode 8. And episode 8, this was one of the best episodes of the show. Where episode 8, everyone comes around because we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do with I'm not gonna bother looking this up though. The place that the Valerians are with though, because the father, Corlys, he left. He's gone. There's actually rumors he was dead. He's actually not quite dead though. He shows up in the final episode, and yeah, it's becoming very very clear that Viserys is finally dying though. I mean, he later shows like his face later, like half his face is missing though. I don't know how he's alive though, but yeah, he's just he's an old man and he is dying. And so yeah, just Rhaenyra is really hoping to be like, hey, give one of my sons the place. Place. I'm still your heir. I'll still take over for you when you die. But at first, it doesn't look like he's a part of that, right? Like at first, it doesn't sound like he hears it at first, where it's just like, yeah, I'm too old. But then he comes out wearing his golden mask on his cane, just doing this for his family, and just comes out and it's quite a cool scene, just to see him come out, and then he names one of her kids as like, hey, you're gonna take over for this place. And that doesn't make the brother very happy, and he gets himself killed because he calls their kids bastards. So yeah, which that was a kind of a cool scene as well, because then of course Daemon like eggs him on, he yells it out, and Viserys like, yeah, I'm gonna cut out your tongue because of this. And then Daemon clean cuts his head off though, right between his tongue. He's like, he can keep his tongue. That was definitely one of the best moments of the show. And then you have the dinner, and I think Viserys had a lot of good lines in the show, but I think easily his best one is when he can tell that his family is squabbling. They're not behaving very well, and he sees it, and he just basically tells all of them to shut up. But the way he says it is I'm gonna have to look. Got it. Yeah, he says like, if you are not going to get along for the sake of the crown, do it for the sake of this old man who loves you all so dearly. Oof. That's a pretty powerful line from someone who knows he's dying, and he's like, hey, these people have to get along. And And for a moment, it feels like it does, but of course, it's Game of Thrones. Things aren't going to end happily ever after. And, yeah. So, you know what then happens next? Aegon, with the eye patch, um, tries to do a toast, and then he insults their actual father when Viserys leaves the room. So, yeah, you just know just right away that like they just don't care, and no one's ever gonna get along though, and basically that as soon as Viserys dies, just all hell is gonna break loose on this Targaryen dynasty. But it could have been saved if it wasn't for too many people named Aegon. But the way it plays out is I don't know if Viserys thought he was talking to Rhaenyra or he was just talking in his sleep. But of course, Alicent goes back to his room because that's her husband, and she hears him talking about Aegon the Conqueror, basically saying like, "Hey, he's gonna lead us past the winter, though." Which of course he's talking about the Long Night, which was very overhyped, though, and also Jon Snow had like nothing to do with it, though. But we won't talk about that right now. I already had that rant already. But yeah, he basically is like, "Yep, Aegon's supposed to be king. Aegon's gonna lead us past the night." And you can tell Rhaenyra is. I mean, you can tell at first Rhaenyra isn't like, "Oh, okay, cool. We were all gonna do it anyway." She's like, "Okay, no one's gonna believe." So she gives this look, and then of course Viserys' last words are "my love," and she doesn't hear that, but it becomes apparent that it becomes very apparent that he thought he was talking to Rhaenyra. So because of that, though, episodes 9 and 10 are is basically the setup for this war that's gonna come. Basically, the way everyone kind of perceives of this, though, where episode 9 we're in King's Landing, and then episode 10 we're in Dragonstone. But yeah, episode 9 starts out, and I mean, of course, Alicent goes to Otto Hightower, but 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 even though Alicent is like, hey, he said Aegon should be on the throne, though they don't just go, okay, we're just gonna run with it. They're kind of like, oh boy, we're in a very difficult situation right now because Otto Hightower's like, there were no witnesses. No one's gonna believe you. Even when they take it to the council, obviously one guy doesn't believe it though, and Criston Cole accidentally kills him. Once again, suffers no consequences for his actions. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know the discipline of that man. But yeah, but they're like, hey, that was the king's final command. I guess we gotta go get Aegon, I guess. And and Aegon is one of those kids where you don't really know much about, though. And so it's like, okay, what's this kid really like, though? He is just terrible. He's not good because when they find him, of course, he is part of a child arena. So yeah, congratulations. And then I believe he's also drunk. I don't know, just not in a good place, and you can tell right away that's like, oh, this guy's not going to be a good king. But then he even says like, hey, I don't want to be king. But then it becomes very apparent that Aemon wants to be king. So for a moment, I thought that Aemon was going to kill Aegon and be like, oh, he was dead. I guess I'm next in line. And then you know that, oh, this guy is going to be a terrible king. But no, when they first name Aegon king, once he gets crowned and kind of the crowd kind of sees the reaction for it, though, it seems to become apparent that he's like, this is actually not that bad. But you know he's just going to be a terrible king. So, yep. But then, of course, you just have this powerful scene right after that where then you have Not Rhaenyra. Why do people's names are just so close to one another? Exit full screen. There we go. What the heck? Oh, that's not the right way. Yeah, Rhaenys. She gets locked in her room earlier, and Alicent's like, "Hey, we'll let you out if you vote Aegon as king." And she's like, "No, not gonna do that." So because of her, you're gonna have to stay in your room. And then um, I don't remember what his name is. The captain of the Kingsguard who walks out after Kristen kills that one guy, and he kind of breaks her out. But then they lose themselves in the crowd, and then Rhaenys goes down to the dungeons, comes up with a dragon, decides not to kill them, which part of you wants to be like, yeah, you know what though, Rhaenys? Rain fire upon them. You've been robbed of this for way too long. She doesn't. She doesn't because she's smart. She knows, okay, if I just kill everyone here, it's gonna make my house look bad. It's gonna make Rhaenyra's probably gonna be really mad at me to be like, hey, I know I didn't really like him very much, but you killed my friend. You killed my friend. You killed everyone. You killed part of my family. Not okay with that. But she goes back. She has a chance to live. So, and then you get into episode 10, and oh boy. And I was assuming that the war wasn't going to start this episode because, number one, that would be very, very rushed and a bit of a weird strategy, though. I think we got a little dust just floating around. It's a good thing I'm not allergic to dust. But, yeah. Rhaenyra has a very rough couple of days. Or, I don't even know how long. Maybe one rough day. I don't know. But yeah, this is something I'm gonna rant about because you'll see. So Rhaenys comes in, is like, hey, your father has unfortunately passed, and because of that though, they basically just said, yeah, screw his heir, we're gonna name Aegon king. So of course Rhaenyra's sad about that though, but then for some reason then goes into childbirth, and the baby dies. Yeah, that was another very very uncomfortable scene to watch though. So she loses her father and her newborn son in a span of like what? Like 5 minutes, something like that. Just like, actually it may have been more than 5 minutes, but just just poor Rhaenyra. And so then of course Rhaenyra's like, okay, well, actually no, actually someone comes by, gives her her father's crown, so she's basically like, yeah, I'm the queen. And so Otto Hightower comes by, is basically like, hey, let's have peace, it was his dying wish. So I mean would they have would everyone in King's Landing have just run with it though? When Viserys died, it looked like they were planning to, but obviously I don't know if they were going to. But since this was legit, that Alicent was like, I heard it from his own mouth, Aegon should be king, which she kind of twists that lie up a little bit though and kind of runs with it though, but she did hear Aegon should be king, or at least that's what she heard of, because there are too many people named Aegon and just people just running with it. So, but Rhaenyra isn't, at first Rhaenyra isn't like, hey, but Rhaenyra isn't like, hey, let's go to war with us. She's not like that. Daemon wants to go to war because Daemon in his mind is like, they kill my brother. I've killed people before, so I'm just gonna go there and I'm just gonna wreck shit up. But Rhaenyra's like, let's be smart about this and let's think about this. And so because of that, she's like, hey, let's go get some of my allies that swore an oath to me. But instead of sending ravens, she sends her sons, basically to prove that, like, hey, I'm for real. And so one son goes to Winterfell. We do not get to him yet, so maybe we might see some Starks next season. And her youngest son she sends to the Baratheons. But apparently Aemon has beat her there. Aemon has beat him there, and this was the son that cut out his eye. So obviously he's not very happy with him, and of course, and at first he starts torturing him with his dragon, not physically, but kind of like a tease torture, though. But then because the dragons are torturing one another, the son's dragon burns the other dragon. That ticks the dragon off, and he eats the dragon and the son. So probably in a matter of a couple of days, Rhaenyra loses her father, her baby, and her son. And when she finds out about this news, you see the look on her face, and you can tell she is mad. Just all hope of peace, it's gone. There's no peace. There will be no peace between these two families. She's mad, and she's out for blood. And I'm not entirely sure how this is going to end, though, because because part of me is like, okay, since no woman has ascended the Iron Throne, Rhaenyra's probably going to die later on. But then also, if we're going down the lines, we should eventually get to Aerys, the Mad King, which then that, of course, could lead to something, which, honestly, that's something I would love to see, though. Make that happen. But yeah, just, she's not happy, and that's kind of the way the season ended, and I just right there, like that's better than like not having a war. Like the war's gonna happen later on. I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen during this war, because be like, who's gonna win, who's gonna die, and I'm not sure how far the book goes into it though, but yeah, just I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen next though, and I just hope that this doesn't end the way Game of Thrones season 8 did. So yeah, that's kind of where Rhaenyra's at now. And I think the thing that's like really frustrating about this is the fact that if Rhaenyra does, okay, I don't think she's gonna burn King's Landing though. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen though. But let's say season 2, episode 1, she comes into King's Landing and she just burns everyone. I mean, she kills Aegon, Aemon. Like if she kills all of them though, I think that's gonna feel good. I think that's gonna feel satisfying, because that was properly set up though, where you have Daenerys burning everyone in King's Landing for no reason at all. Like that just came out of nowhere, and it was so horribly set up though. This at least makes logical sense, and I remember kind of watching and be like, hey, if she goes batshit crazy and just starts burning King's Landing, I'm all in for it though. Go right ahead. With Daenerys, that was like burn all of a sudden. It was like, this doesn't make any sense. That makes sense. I'm not saying they should have done that for Daenerys though, but if they were gonna make her go mad, make her do it in a logical way, and then don't just kill her and be like, yep, you feel nothing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Just, I mean, you had to see this. You had to knew the drama was gonna ramp up. So, but yeah, Game of Thrones is back, baby. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I still liked it though, but just as I said, I still think there's some trust to be won back over, because I mean, just as I said, Game of Thrones started out so good. I mean, I've even rewatched some episodes, and like the first episode, I think it's Winter's, the first episode, season 1, episode 1. I watched that. It made a lot more sense, and I quite enjoyed it. Battle of the Bastards, enjoyed watching The Wall. I've seen multiple. I've rewatched multiple episodes, and I have enjoyed them. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I hate this show now. I just hate the way it ends. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. How are we gonna do season 2? I don't know. I definitely don't think I can do some of these reviews with my family around, because I don't think they'll be very happy that I'm watching this though. So but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, or maybe the show will just keep getting pushed back with this stupid writer's strike going on. I don't know. But yeah, in the meantime though, yeah, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, MATTHEWLEININGER. Did I put two? It's ININGER. So yeah. I'm sure you guys find me though. But yeah, and I will see you all here next time. I will be posting this close to the weekend, so of course we'll probably have some more football videos coming out though. But yeah, just I'll see you guys next time. Bye.